Hey there, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dayana, and I'm an operations and growth strategist. So, today we're going to be talking about how your business is not broken, it just needs boundaries. Boundaries are something that are extremely important that oftentimes we overlook because we think that, oh, we need to be just as accessible to our team as we possibly can be because that's going to help us to scale, or we need to be extremely accessible to our clients because that's going to help them to be happy. There is a happy medium with doing all of that, but we do not want to do it at the losing my train of thought, the exact word I'm looking for, but we don't want to do it at the demise of ourselves. So, I want to talk a little bit about why lack of boundaries creates burnout because burnout is something that can creep up on you. There are signs, if you see them ahead of time, that you can kind of pump the brakes, say, oh, whoa, I need to like back up. But we need to be able to identify those. So, the connection between unclear limits and exhaustion is very, very fine because a lot of times, especially as females, I know I push myself until I'm at the point where I'm physically sick because I just want to keep going. I want to keep building. I want to keep pushing past the boundaries that I've set in my mind for myself. And I'm like, no, I can keep going. I can keep going. But we can't. We're human. We are human. And so we need to recognize when our bodies are tired and listen to our bodies. So if your body's saying you're exhausted, you need more rest, or hey, it's okay to not go to the gym today, or hey, maybe we shouldn't eat that extra meal because it's not going to refuel our body properly. Whatever that might be, listen to your limits and follow them because that is going to help to create a healthy boundary for you because there's a direct correlation between unclear limits and exhaustion. So if you're having a lot of unclear limits with, oh, I think I can do this, or like I can take it that much further, you're going to make yourself tired. And that is something that we don't want to do. Don't want to get in the habit of that. We want to also use the word yes very sparingly. So saying yes too often dilutes the amount of impact it actually has. I'm going to use an example that's it's not business related, but my fiance. So his friends would always ask him in college, hey, let's go out, let's go to this party, blah, blah, blah. And he would normally always say no. Well, then he said yes like two times, a handful. But when he said yes, it was extremely powerful. They were excited because they said, oh my gosh, he never says yes. Like this literally never happens. So you want, whenever you say yes to something that is extremely powerful, it's intentional, it's meaningful to whoever is around you. Because if you continue to say yes to everything, then it's not really going to mean much to people because they're going to be like, oh, we can ask Dayana, she's going to say yes. No, if I say yes, it's because I actually believe in something. I actually want to do it. I want to see it through. But use your time very, very wisely and don't just be open and give your time to just anybody because everyone does not deserve your time. And it's okay to understand that. And it's okay to be cognizant and protective of your time. There are some signs that your boundaries are being crossed. And that often will lead to burnout. And that is a clear, clear sign that people are crossing your boundaries, but they might not be doing it intentionally. That is one of the things that I had in a previous role was my boundaries were constantly being crossed because I would get text messages like at 10, 11 p.m., just like, hey, can you check on this? Hey, can you check on that? What about this idea? What about that idea? And I did not set those boundaries and say, hey, I am off. I am out of the office. Like it is 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I am at home trying to go to sleep, get a good night's rest. No, I didn't do that. So I opened myself up and I was like, oh, hey, yeah, I can help with this. What is it that you need help with? I'm happy to help. Well, when you do that naturally, that tells people, okay, it's okay to do that. Even though I didn't feel as comfortable and as confident with them doing that to me constantly, I allowed that to happen. And so, being that I did not set my boundary and say, hey, I am off, I will talk to you tomorrow, or just not answer the phone, I allowed that boundary to be crossed, which definitely led to me being burnt out. I want to talk a little bit about, too, what weak boundaries actually look like, especially in business, because sometimes it's easy for us to figure it out in real life, but sometimes in business, the lines are a little bit blurred. So I want to get extremely, extremely clear on what that can look like. So if you're letting clients contact you at all hours, that is a weak boundary. Just like how I brought up, allowing the owners of the company to call and text me at any time of the evening. That was a weak boundary that I had. If you're customizing every offer or service to avoid saying no to a client, that is having a weak boundary. I want to dive into that one a little bit deeper because sometimes people are like, well, no, I customize my offer, I customize my service so I can take anyone and everyone. That is fine, but you don't do any and everything well. Whatever it is that you are taking on from a client, you want to make sure that you are doing whatever it is well, and that is your bread and butter. If you cannot do it to the highest effect, probably not the best thing to do. It really isn't, because if that is something that is kind of weighing on you, then either you need to figure out what your niche is and focus on doing one thing great, or you need to contract some other people to be able to help you, because it's virtually impossible for us to be great at everything. There are some anomalies, but overall, try to figure out your niche, and it's okay to say no. Value your time and know that the things that you say yes to for an offer are because they're right up your alley. They're going to make you happy. They're not just going to make you money, but they're something that you're passionate about, that you truly care about. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to think about customizing your offer or offering a certain service or product to someone. Another thing is overcommitting to things that are outside of your zone of genius. That kind of piggybacks perfectly on what I was just saying, because it's easy to say, oh, well, they're going to pay me this amount, so I want to make sure that I can deliver on it. If it's outside of what you're good at doing, don't do it. Don't do it. That's like some of the people I've spoken to recently, who I've worked with, and they're like, I asked them what made them want to start that business. They're like, oh, yeah, I loved blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, what'd you love about it? And then they start thinking about it. They're like, oh, I really didn't love it. Like, I actually don't like what I do, but it makes me money. And I'm like, that's great that you're doing something that you don't love that makes you money. But what happens if you actually took that energy and put it into something that you truly enjoy? What would life look like for you? It would look completely different. Your whole life would be full of passion, full of joy, because you're doing something that aligns with who you are at your core. And so that's something that I encourage you to think about, is what is your zone of genius? I know mine is dealing with timing. I'm really good at being supportive. I am really good at strategizing and thinking of the big picture. I'm really good at details, but I'm also good with, hey, if this is the overall objective that we're trying to do, we need to be looking at all these little pieces to figure out how everything fits together. So that is my area of genius. If I'm going to go in for someone and do something extremely, extremely tedious, like looking at spreadsheets, moving numbers all around spreadsheets all day long, that might not be my zone of genius. I'm good at organizing things, but if I'm trying to say it's for accounting or something dealing with finances, that is not my zone of genius. I can work a spreadsheet, don't get me wrong, but trying to work on, oh, this is a debit, this is a credit, or trying to zero out accounts and things like that, that is not my strong suit. So it's important to make sure that you are operating in your zone of genius. And if you're not, figuring out how you can get there to that point the quickest, so that way you can be the most efficient and effective with your time. So that is just part one of discussing that you just need boundaries and that your business isn't broken. But I want to break this into two segments just because I feel like that it's a lot of information and I want to make sure that we get through all of it. So if you felt like this was helpful, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I do work with six-figure female founders who are trying to scale their businesses through building high-performing teams and automating their systems and processes. So if that is you, feel free to click the link below to connect with me. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.